When you talk about fear of public speaking, you're really talking about getting to the root and understanding what the causes and symptoms are, and if you can figure out what they are, you can then learn to control them. Will they ever go away completely? Think about the actors. Actors that go up on stage on Broadway, do you think that they're nervous? Most of them are. Some are. But all to different degrees, and it's all about comfort level. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be, period. But if we understand what the root causes are, it will allow us to do what we need to do. At the age of 10, my children are allowed to get earrings. That was the fear factor. Here's the success. That feeling you have of having the earring going to put through is the same feeling you're going to have when you're standing in front of a group of people scared out of your mind. But that success feeling is going to be the same success when you're done. Where do you want to devote all of your time and energy? What we allow our mind to do is say, what if? What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? What if I do all of this other stuff? We also put ourselves into uncomfortable situations. So because it's not part of our normal routine, our normal day, we're thrown. That's a hint on what you can do to ensure you ease some of that fear later on, is keep that routine as much as you can, knowing you still have the presentation that's out there. But if I show up and say I'm fearful of the new situation, of don't want to bore you, and all of a sudden I say I'm really happy to be here today, you're going to start catching on and feeling what I'm feeling. So if I start talking like this, you're not going to be listening. So I should make sure that I'm confident in my presentation to you with my voice. And that when I tell you I'm very excited to be here today, I really mean it. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll feel that excitement. The symptoms. Dizzy head, heart pounding, shaking, sweat, shallow breathing. Add to it the blood rushing up through my neck, my ears, my face, my shoulders tense up. That's me. I've had to work extremely hard to do this. Seems subtle, but it is. You have to be able to know yourself. Up until that very moment where I said blood rushing up to my head, for the last 40 minutes, I've felt nothing. It's probably been there the entire time. I don't know. Personally, I don't care. Years before, that would have been my entire focus. Uh-oh, here it comes again. That heat rush again. Here come the shakes, here come the sweats. Uh-oh. And when my mind starts going, uh-oh, where's my message? It's going, uh-oh, too. My message is going right out the door along with it. Because I'm losing focus, I'm losing concentration, therefore I'm losing my audience. But when I learn to control my symptoms, I become a better speaker. When I stop thinking about this, and imagine somebody telling you to relax. Hey, you ought to relax. Oh, great, thanks. It's only going to tense you up a little bit more. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes practice, practice. And when you're done, it takes practice again to get used to it. For it to continue to get I could give a speech better than anyone else talking to my steering wheel. But as soon as you stand up, you're out of your comfort zone again. I learned I had to practice. I go into an empty room every morning and I practice in front of an expansive set of chairs. But even that's not good enough, because it changes as soon as you look somebody in the eye. So I practice my speech in front of anyone and everyone who wants to hear it. I've practiced in front of my dental hygienist in the waiting room. And I'm better off because of it. It's about stage time. It's about preparing. It's about understanding what your routines are. Don't stick to those routines. I've seen far too many people put together a PowerPoint presentation and say, guess what? I'm ready to present. Put it away until the day of the presentation and just wing it. Write out the key points you want to make and ensure you do not walk away until they are made. Repetition over and over and over and over and over again. It will only make you do it again. Toastmasters is interesting because I'd done all of these speeches and I'd memorize it, I'd get it done, and then I'd put it on a shelf. And I was done with it. Like, that was nice. But what I found is by going back and refining it, all of a sudden I'm making these speeches so much stronger and more powerful. You'd be shocked the number of rewrites that take place that make that speech or presentation so much stronger. Your repetition will tell you, I finally just didn't make sense at that point. I've got to change it. Stage time. Get up on stage, get to where you're going to speak and do it. Get to the room ahead of time. The mental side of this says, I have to visualize success. Think about the Olympic skiers. I remember from the most recent Winter Olympics that we had, they would always go to the skiers before they went to the top of the hill. And what were they doing? They were visualizing their run. They were visualizing themselves winning the gold. Only one person won the gold, but every single one of them visualized their own success. Sometimes our feelings of fear aren't fear itself. It's excitement, it's anxiety, it's I want to get my message out to you. There's been plenty of times in my early speech competitions where I would do this. Because if I didn't do this, I was doing this. What I realized was this was because I was excited to be there. Some of it was fear. So they said, gee, Tom, you need to not distract the audience and stand in one place. So I did. And then the audience got a little bored with me. But what I learned to do was to have a conversation. And when you learn to have a conversation and you know who your audience is, you become a little bit more confident. Because I know who you are and I know the messages I want to send to you because we've had enough conversations together. Or I've asked the meeting organizers of exactly the points you want me to make. I know who the audience is. And when I know who the audience is, my message is going to get received the way that I want it received. The last part is the physical preparation. It's the obvious. Take a deep breath. Stretch. Before a competition, I'll walk out in the hall before I go on. And just this itself releases probably 75% of my tension. Stretch. Avoid caffeine. I presented over to the Y. There were 100 people in the room and I was shaking in my boots to a speech I've done 100 times and I was not nervous. I realized it was a Diet Coke. I drank it an hour before. I haven't touched caffeine since. I'm not downgrading caffeine. I know its benefits. Exercise before the presentation. And try to stick to as much of a routine as you can. The more you stick to your routine of all of a sudden you have an apple every morning for breakfast and then you have a big presentation the next day and you decide to have a big egg pancake breakfast, you're throwing off your own routine. Stick to as much of the routine because mentally it ties into your physical aspect. Remember, you're harder on yourself than anybody else that's out there. Anxiety, by the way, is normal. Most people won't pick up on all the things you're worried about. If you miss a line in your speech, ask yourself, did anyone else notice? Probably not. The final part is live in the present. And another one of my speech contests. Scared out of my boots prior to getting my mentor, I said to him, how do you relax during a presentation because I'm going out of my mind? And his words were, live in the present. You'll never get this moment right now to stand in front of you and give to you what I'm doing right now. That's exciting. I'm giving you everything I have at this very moment. Live in the present. And when you do that, you'll go from fear to success. Thank you.